Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. This week, I'd like to talk about 10 misconceptions that people have about living in a tiny house or even going tiny to begin with. Of course, every tiny house living situation is going to be different, so it all depends on how you plan your build. Say if you have a custom build, it all depends on what you want in there. I've been living this way for 3.5 years already, and I'd like to squash some of those misconceptions because not all of them are true. Most of them are not true. Let's start with number one. It is a misconception for people to think that if you have animals, say such as cats, that when you have a litter box, that the litter box is going to make the tiny house smell. I can tell you from first experience that this is not the case, especially if you plan to have it in an enclosed area inside your tiny house, as well as you do the litter box every day. When you don't do the litter box every day, their urine accumulates this smell and goes throughout the house. I admit sometimes my house has smelled like this because I have let the litter box go 1 or 2 days, but I do have 3 litter boxes. The 3 cats that I do have a choice to go within those 3 litter boxes. Now, lately they have only been going in 2 of the litter boxes and leaving 1 empty, so I'm not sure why that happens, but I've been having to do the litter box more lately because they've only been using the 2 litter boxes. So again, if you want to plan your tiny house in order for it to not have smells, you can always build a enclosed litter box. I put one of mine in the storage staircase, and then I have 2 upstairs in my cat loft. I even have other little scent things upstairs in order to keep some of the scent at bay, but all in all, it is a huge misconception that your tiny house is going to smell if you have animals, like with a litter box. It's just not true. Number 2, speaking of smells, people think that living in a tiny house with a composting toilet, that is automatically going to smell in a small space. I can guarantee you that's not the case at all. It does smell when you do change it, I'm not gonna lie. You are presented with a lot of raw and drying waste, but when it is covered and closed, it does not go throughout the house. And one thing that helps this is the fan that is always running inside the toilet, which helps draw out the scent outside. It's not like there's no fan in there, which I think would allow for the scent to come inside the house, but because that fan is in there starting the drying process of the composting, that's when it goes outside and you don't have to worry about it. Number 3, when I first went tiny, people said that you cannot move your tiny house more than once or twice, or that you shouldn't. I was kind of weirded out by this because I thought, it's on wheels, so why not move it? But I think what their point was that you can't move bigger houses more than 1 or 2 times. Well, I have personally moved my tiny house 4 times, twice within the campground in Illinois, then from Illinois to Georgia, Georgia to Tennessee, and then when I find my land, I'll be moving it yet a 5th time. Nothing bad has happened. People have said that maybe some of my leaking windows might have to do with some of the movement of the tiny house when it travels, but all in all, you can move it more than once or twice, no matter the size. I'm gonna say mine is at 28 feet by 8 feet, and it's on a triple axle. It actually just moved just fine. There are other people in the tiny house community that do travel in their tiny houses full time, especially some of those who have, say, YouTube channels and tour around the states in order to do this. They're living and they're also traveling. You can travel in a tiny house. You can move it more than once or twice, and I'm just going to say that that is a tiny house misconception because it's just not true. Number 4 misconception is that all tiny houses need to have certification, and that is just not true. Permits, same thing. Some do, some don't, and what happens is the place that you are staying in is the place that's going to require certificates or permits on your tiny house. Some places it's unrestricted. You're not going to need those things because nobody's going to be coming in and checking on you. When I first went tiny, I called 37 different campgrounds, and about 12 of those campgrounds said yes to seasonal and full-time living. And they were the ones that said that I did not need certification or permits. They said either we're a family-owned campground or no, we don't need any of that stuff here and you are more than welcome. However, the other places that I called said yes, you do need our VIA certification or some kind of certification saying that your house is built a specific way and all the things that come with certifications and permits. I personally don't have certification on my tiny house. I kind of wish I did get it. It's something that I forgot to get, but now after the fact, I don't think I'm going to be staying in a place where I'm going to need certification. So I'm looking for my land now, and if I get unrestricted land, then I don't think they're going to need it, but I think that's a misconception, and I found this one out through experience. Number 5, it is a misconception that you cannot live comfortably inside a tiny house. I have heard this from many people, especially say on my YouTube channel in the comments, where they say, I don't see how you can live comfortably in a tiny house, let alone with 3 cats. I am alone in this tiny house and I have never lived better. When I was in an apartment and houses, I actually felt there was too much space. It's just more comfortable living in a smaller space because it's all I need. I feel like when I had too much stuff and too much space, that it was too much room for me. So this is actually a perfect amount for one person and a couple animals. It's a perfect amount for 2 people. I could even have kids and that would be a perfect amount for this tiny house and live comfortably, especially if you custom build for all of that stuff. Number 6 is that you cannot live comfortably with more than 2 people. Again, this is a misconception, and the reason I'm going to say this is because I know of plenty of people who have families of 4 to 6 that are living comfortably in a tiny house. I'm only one person living with 3 cats living comfortably in a tiny house, but just built a family, then I could definitely fit all of that in my tiny house, especially if it is planned. When you are bringing your family tiny, you want to make sure that, especially if you're having a custom house built, that you build room for all of those people that are going to live in there. You want to make sure that they have a sleeping area each, just a comfortable spot for each of them. And if they don't, that's when you might run into problems. If you are looking to go tiny with more than 2 people, it is very helpful if you are already a minimalist, because this means that each person coming into the house is going to be bringing less stuff in. They're also going to require less space. Number 7 misconception is that tall people cannot live in a tiny house. Again, I'm going to say this is 100% not true, especially if you are custom designing your tiny house. You can build it however you want. A tiny house is 13 feet and 6 inches without any floors or anything added in between. So when you go to design your house, if you need taller space to walk in, then don't design it with lofts. Me personally, when I first went tiny, I asked the builder to design it at least 6 foot tall so that some of my family members could come into my house. I decided to have it built where tall people could come in. This office especially is actually shorter for that reason also, so that I have some more standing room and, people can stand up on this step rather than bumping their head on the cat loft. You don't have to have lofts in your tiny house in order to accommodate tall people. You could put a downstairs bedroom instead of a upstairs bedroom. I believe that is called a reverse loft, so that if a tall person doesn't want to walk up the stairs and squat, they could always squat and just lay down on their bed, because that's what the bedroom is for anyways, going to sleep. A tiny house can be designed for tall people, so in my opinion, again, that is just a misconception that people have about tiny house living. Number 8, you cannot bring in stuff that you enjoy doing, like crafts, hobbies, and things of that nature. And I believe that is totally false again, because especially if you are custom designing your tiny house, you can put whatever you want in here. I have seen people make bookshelves all on one big wall in order to fit all of their books. I have seen people build craft rooms. Me, myself, I built this 8x8 business office that I needed to have put in my tiny house in order for me to work out of. So as long as you plan for all of your crafts or your hobbies or things that you enjoy doing to come into your tiny house, then you do not have to give all of it up. Just remember everything in moderation. So if you are a book collector, either you make room for all of your books or you can get rid of some of them and make room for the other half. Personally, I chose to give up a lot more because I didn't want to bring all of that stuff in. There was no way that I was going to fit all of the stuff that I had in my apartment in this tiny house. So I sold about 4,000 items just to go tiny. Number 9 misconception is that you clean less in a tiny house. This I find to be absolutely false because I am cleaning a lot more than I ever did in an apartment or a house. I am dusting constantly, I am vacuuming constantly, I am cleaning windows constantly. I do have 19 windows in my tiny house and the rain does get in them. In order to keep those maintenance, you've got to keep cleaning those. There is only so much walking space in your tiny house as well, so you're always going to be trekking in mud and dirt and dust. You do clean a lot more, and this is again just in my experience of living in a tiny house. I find that I am cleaning a lot more than I ever did. And number 10 misconception is that tiny houses lose value because they're on wheels. Now, where this is true in some situations, especially where a car is involved, now I'm honestly not sure if this is a true misconception, just because this is an opinion that I had. If I choose to add stuff to my tiny house to make the value go up, then I could see myself, if I chose to sell it, selling it for more than I purchased it for. In my opinion, I don't think that the value always goes down. It might go down if you don't do anything to it to make it better. But if you do renovate it in any way, I kind of feel like that makes the value of a house go up, even if it is on wheels. All in all, I think that a lot of people searching for tiny houses do have these misconceptions because they have never lived the lifestyle before. 3.5 years into it, I am finally seeing some of the misconceptions myself, where they would have, gotten those ideas from. These misconceptions were squashed for me, so I just wanted to clear some of those up for you guys. Hopefully, if you guys are in the market for a tiny house, some of these will ease your mind a little bit and help you make a better decision on if you want to go tiny or not. Watch other people's journeys. If you have a family of 6 and you're going tiny, make sure you research those families and see how they're doing it, see how they designed stuff inside their house. If you have animals, check out YouTube channels where the people have animals and they're living tiny. These people actually have experience doing these things, and they could be of great help for you when you guys decide to go tiny as well. If you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button below and click the notifications bell so you can receive a notification each time I post a new video, which is every Sunday. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next video. Excuse me, don't put that. But you don't have to have the cat lofts. You could have cat lofts and then, or don't put that. And you could put a downstairs bedroom instead of, oops. You also basically have to, don't put that. This week, I'm going to be sharing with you 10 different things that people, don't put that. This is an 8-foot by 8-foot added office, and don't put any of this. So, number 9 misconception. I am always, no, don't put that. I do dishes a lot more because I only have a small little dish drain. I vacuum a lot more. Don't put that.